If you like vintage gold and silver, this is going to be the video for you. I am heading down to Kalamazoo again, where I made killer scores in my last coin show video. I'm heading down to meet with Vintage Varieties, Jeff Lefebvre, really cool guy. He wanted to do an interview, and so I'm going to go down there and interview him. And the Michigan State Numismatic Society, it's their 68th annual spring show, coin show and convention. It's in Kalamazoo at the Kalamazoo County Expo Center, 2900 Lake Street, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And it is going to be awesome. I might go back down there today. Today is Saturday, or no, today is Friday. I can't talk today. And I'm not saving this for the blooper reel. You'll have to see that at the end. But I'm going down there today, probably. Today is Friday. Actually, I'm filming this Thursday, and I'm talking to you tomorrow, which is Friday today. So it's going on today. It was going on yesterday, and I'll show you what I got. This is going to have to be a two-part video. Anyway, let me get to the video. The interview's coming, and we'll show you some cool vintage stuff, and then I'll show you what I got. Hang on one second. We'll do the interview, and then there's going to be two interviews. So one today, and come back tomorrow because I'm going to release the second part. So it's a two-part video, part one today, and part one tomorrow. Hang on one second. Let me introduce you to Jeff Lefebvre, owner of Vintage Varieties. Really cool guy, and he is a vintage nut like me. Let me know when you're ready. All right.
I'm ready.
I guess we're going. Hey, so I'm here with my friend Jeff. He runs Vintage Varieties, and he specializes in vintage silver and gold. And he's here. He's going to answer some questions that a lot of people, I never see him asked or answered online. So we'll do some hard questions for him. So the first one I got is, how'd you get started in the world of vintage precious metals?
Well, I started out like most people do. I stacked a lot of generic, as much weight as I could. Just went after weight. And then after a while, it got a little boring, and I found that I didn't want to do it anymore. So I started doing what some call stack collecting. So you're stacking, but at the same time you're buying some premium pieces here and there, some things that you really appreciate and like. And so I started to delve into the world of vintage because there's just not that much of it. A lot of people don't know, but a lot of it didn't survive the melt in the 80s. So yeah. The stuff is really cool to admire, and a lot of people are aficionados of it. There's people all over the world that go after this stuff. I mean, it's crazy. So I delved into that, and I mean, we've got lots of different levels of vintage, and we'll go through that in a little bit, I'm sure. But I basically started it because I was bored, quite frankly. I got bored with stacking.
That's cool. Yeah, there was the melt in the 80s, and there was another one in the 2010.
Yep. When it spiked.
I was kind of a victim of that too. I sold a lot of my vintage stuff in 2013 because it wasn't pretty. It was like the ugly silver.
Right.
Regrettable. How do you determine the value? Because we get a lot of people that I'll get some vintage because I like collecting the vintage stuff, and I'll be like, well, this thing's worth like $150 and it's 1 ounce of silver, and I'll get people to come in, oh, it's $30. It's spot price is this, and that's what it's worth, and that's it. So how do you determine one from another?
There's three variables that are determine what the rarity level of it is, or what the pricing should be on it. Number one is, of course, the mintage. How many were originally made? Okay, it is believed that anything from the 80s, only about 10 to 20% of it survived the melts. So if you say you've got a 1,000 mintage coin, very good probability that there is only 100 to 200 actually still in existence. Okay, so rarity is a big thing, and we determine that by looking. There's great sites out there. I'm sure you've heard of allengelhard.com. That's a great resource for a lot of it. I also have Archie Kidd's book on bars, as well as some Australian ingot books and things for stuff that's across the pond, because some of that stuff is tough to get numbers on, because you need to know what they actually minted. But the people at All Engelhard have done a pretty good job of putting a lot of that together. So we get the mintage. That's the first thing. The second thing is the not just the mintage, but the rarity of it. okay? Meaning how many are actually on the market, okay? Because sometimes these pieces don't come up very often. I mean, I've got some bars in there. I waited years for them to come on the market and actually to obtain them. So that's something that you have to look at too. And then the final thing is desirability. You know, what do they like? What do they want? So those three things are all driving factors that determine what the value is of the particular pieces that you have. So you put all that together and you jumble it all up, and that's how you come up with your number based on those three factors.
And do you know what the name of the book is that does the Australian varieties?
It's called, if you Google Australian ingots,
Okay.
it comes up, and it's a really cool book, and it shows a lot of all these different, some are manufactured. See, Engelhard did things in London, Canada, Australia, even in Italy and Spain, a lot of people didn't know. There's some very rare pieces that I've seen, and I mean, it's crazy. You can go down a rabbit hole with some of this stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that they did it in Italy and Spain as well. Mm-hmm. Do you have any examples of Italian or Spanish
No,
stuff?
I do not. I have friends that do.
I'd be curious to see that. I'll have to check out. Do you think it's on all Engelhard, that kind of stuff as well?
The
Aussie and Spanish
the
stuff?
the Aussie stuff is the stuff that is in Italy, the stuff that is in Spain. Those things are not on there yet. Some of the things they haven't caught up with that. They've pretty much covered carpet bombed Australia, Canada, and America.
Yeah, that's
those
gotta
three,
be...
they've got them very well covered, and I've got examples of all of those in here, okay? But I don't have any of those. Those are ultra uber rare, and I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars for a 120 gram ingot. They made a 120 gram one, which is an oddball.
Well, what would you? Those are got to be rare, the European ones. So what's your rarest stuff that you have?
The rarest thing I have, I actually have in this case a 1-of-1 bar. It's an industrial bar right here. And as you can see, it was used for plating, okay? It started as a 10 ounce and now it's 8.92 ounces. You have to look very close at an angle to see the logo Engelhard actually stamped in it in the honeycomb, okay?
Oh, wow.
That is on allengelhard.com. It is a 1-of-1 piece, okay? It's the only one. These two ingots here, the 250s from London, only 50 of those were minted. And that's two examples. Now, we all know that 20% of 50s, only 10 ingots maybe survived, okay?
Yeah.
That's at best. They don't have any listed as surviving on all Engelhard, but I actually have 2 of them sitting right here. And then lastly, we have another industrial bar right here. That is one of 25 of 3 known examples of that particular ingot. That's a 10 ounce industrial bar, extruded bar, and those are worth a lot of money as well too. But you can see these pores. Some of these are incredibly expensive, and it's largely because of their rarity. I mean, 3 ounce, 4 ounce, and 7 ounce ingots from Engelhard are almost unobtainium. You just can't find them.
Yeah, that's amazing. A lot of these I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hang out and look through all the stuff here, because there's so much stuff here to absorb. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a ton for doing this.
Not a problem. Glad you could have me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed. You'll have another part. I'm gonna ask him some more questions, so stay tuned for that.